The drama begins when Bai Mentang arrives at the location where she is supposed to meet her boyfriend. She is so excited because she plans to propose to Ming today. But before she can say anything, Ming tells her that he wants to break up with her. She is astonished and wants to know the reason, but at the same time, a bird droppings falls on his jacket. He tries to remove the jacket immediately, and Bai Mentang helps him, but during the struggle, she accidentally tears his shirt as well. Now, Ming, looking angrier than before, explains that this is the reason he wants to break up with her. He says that every time he meets her, her bad luck makes him suffer as well. Bai Mentang argues that it was just a coincidence, but Ming is serious. He points to his girlfriend standing behind them. She walks toward them, and Ming tells Bai Mentang that she is pregnant with his child, and it has been many months now. This surprises Bai Mentang even more, but Ming continues his humiliation. He goes on to say that many times he tried to be intimate with her, but it was always a mess. However, now things are going smoothly with his girlfriend, and for this reason, he is breaking up with Bai Mentang and will never see her again. He adds that she is a jinx so unlucky that anyone in a relationship with her would be in trouble. Bai Mentang angrily shouts that he can go wherever he wants because she is better off alone. But as he walks away, she looks at the engagement ring she had bought for Ming that day, feeling sad. That night, she walks the streets until late and gets very drunk. She thinks to herself that the day has been extremely difficult. Not only did she break up with her boyfriend, but he also cheated on her, and she lost her job earlier that day. At the same time, Wen is on the phone with his assistant, telling them that he has sent his secretary to deal with a boring blind date. As he walks just in front of Bai Mentang, he notices that she is too drunk to notice the car behind her. While Bai Mentang wishes she could kiss someone for the first time, Wen pushes her aside to save her from the accident. She falls into his arms, and they accidentally kiss each other. Embarrassed, Wen Qi pushes her away, but Bai Mentang, still drunk, doesn't mind that her first kiss was with a stranger. Strangely, this stranger calls her lucky to survive the accident. In retaliation, she throws her drink on Wen Qi's dress. Seeing that Bai Mentang can't go home alone, Wen decides to help her get home and spends the night there. Her residence is a hotel owned by her family. The next morning, before Bai Mentang wakes up, Wen calls his secretary to bring a clean outfit for him to wear to visit the warehouse. At the same time, Bai Mentang comes out of the house, still feeling unwell. She suddenly sees Wen Qi standing in her house and asks who he is. He tries to explain that she brought him home because she was so drunk and didn't let him leave. That entire situation caused him a lot of trouble. Bai Mentang doesn't know that Wen Qiyu is the CEO of a big business empire. Based on his current attire, she assumes that he is just a daily wage worker and apologizes, telling him that she will give him what she earns in a day as compensation for the trouble. Before he can refuse, Bai Mentang rushes inside the house to find money. Meanwhile, her aunt Wu Gai discovers that she is in the house, and terrified by this, Bai Mentang hides behind Wen Qi. Her aunt reminds her that she is 24 years old today and has lost her right to enter and own this house. Bai Mentang's grandfather wrote in his will that she would only inherit the guest house if she married before turning 24. Since she failed to marry, she must sign the house papers and give the deed away. For a moment, Bai Mentang thinks, then holds Wen Qi's hand, claiming that he is her husband. Her aunt gets angrier, seeing that Wen Qi looks like an ordinary worker, possibly living poorly on the streets. She tells Wen Qi that he will regret marrying Bai Mentang because she will bring him bad luck and disaster. Aunt Wu also wants Bai Mentang to sign another paper, which states that she is severing her kinship with Bai Mentang. Her daughter works at Tianheng Industries, and she hopes that her daughter will one day become the wife of its CEO. At this moment, they can't afford to have a jinx around them, as she wants all the luck to come to her family. Angrily, Bai Mentang signs the papers but tells her aunt that she isn't interested in living with them. This house belongs to her, according to the will. Aunt Wu angrily raises her hand to slap her, but Wen Qi stops her and says that he will be with Bai Mentang whether she's lucky or unlucky. He adds that it's no guarantee of prosperity just because Aunt Wu's daughter works at Tianheng. He hides his identity as the CEO of the company. After Aunt Wu leaves, Wen Qi tells Bai Mentang that they will go to the local marriage registration office. On the way there, Bai Mentang reflects that she has tried so many times to marry the men she liked, but each time, either the match was wrong or the guy left her. But today, she is finally marrying someone, and surprisingly, she has not experienced any bad luck since the morning. She becomes happy, thinking that she is finally getting married. As they come out of the office with their marriage certificates, Bai Mentang apologizes, saying that Wen Qi has gotten involved in this trouble because of her. She promises that once her aunt leaves the country at the end of the month, she will divorce him. Wen Qi asks what she plans to give him as compensation in exchange for his help. Naively, Bai Mentang promises to pay him more than his daily wage each day, and she will also provide him with food and accommodation for this month. But inside, she is worried because she has no job and doesn't know how she'll afford his pay. At the same time, Wen Qi sends a picture of their marriage certificate to his secretary, telling them that he just got married. Bai Mentang is concerned about paying Wen Qi's wages, which he notices. She promises that she will pay him on time. At that moment, she receives a message from Tianheng Industries, informing her that she has been hired and can start her job. She is so excited about this unexpectedly good news when she needed it the most, and she hugs Wen Qi, telling him that he has brought good luck into her life. As she leaves, the secretary comes running to Wen-chi and asks if he really got married in barely 1 hour. He confirms that he met the most interesting girl today. The next day, Bai Mentang joins the office at Tianheng Company, where her former boyfriend sees her and humiliates her. He laughs at her with his girlfriend and scolds her for following him, even though he is no longer interested in maintaining any relationship. But Bai Mentang shows her employee card, explaining that she has recently been hired here. His girlfriend, Qian, who is also the HR head, is astonished that she was hired without any formal procedure. She humiliates Bai Mentang, suggesting that she must have been hired because of her charms, but as HR head, she orders her to leave the office immediately, firing her on the spot. Qian raises her hand to slap Bai Mentang, but she stops her and feels devastated that she has lost this job too. But the arrogant Ming tells her to bow down and apologize to Qian if she wants to keep her job. At first, Bai Mentang thinks about leaving the job, but the thought of paying Wen-chi keeps her from doing so. Meanwhile, Secretary Tang sees her and asks what's happening. Ming, in a cunning manner, explains that they just noticed the new employee and greeted her, but she was very disrespectful. Bai Mentang fears she will be fired, because Secretary Tang is known for handing out harsh punishments. However, Secretary Tang immediately recognizes her as the same girl who married their CEO, Wen-chi, and blames Qian for bullying her. He demands an apology. Both Qian and Ming apologize bitterly, and as they leave, Secretary Tang turns to Bai Mentang and tells her to complain to him if anyone ever bothers her. Qian secretly takes a picture of Bai Mentang and posts it online to scandalize her as revenge. Meanwhile, Bai Mentang is relieved to have kept her job, so she heads toward the CEO's office to thank him for hiring her. At the same time, Wen-chi is sitting in his office dressed as the CEO while a handyman repairs his chair. Suddenly, he leaves the office and Wen-chi picks up the wrench. As Bai Mentang enters, she assumes that Wen-chi is there for some repair work. Wen-chi asks her what she would feel if she ever got married to the CEO. She immediately denies that this could ever happen, saying there is no way she could be that lucky. Besides, she would never look at the CEO in that way because it's a very unrealistic dream. At the same time, Secretary Tang knocks on the door, asking for the CEO, which startles Bai Mentang. Knowing that CEO Wen-chi wants to hide his identity, Secretary Tang asks him if he has finished repairing the chair. Wen-chi pretends to be repairing the chair while Bai Mentang returns to her desk. Afterward, Wen-chi advises Secretary Tang to keep his identity hidden. At the end of the day, Wen-chi waits for Bai Mentang to leave the office. He grabs her hand, telling her he is going with her to stay for the rest of the month. She blushes as he grabs her hand, and they finally reach her home. Once there, Bai Mentang is surprised by the situation, being alone with a man who, for the first time, has called her his wife. She is lost in her thoughts when Wen-chi opens his suitcase and asks her where the washroom is. He wants to take a shower and set up his own toiletries. She blushes even more, turning red, which Wen-chi notices. He asks if she's okay, but she denies it. She waits for him to come out of the washroom while searching online about what to do at night. The content makes her more nervous, and she puts the phone aside. At the same time, Wen-chi comes out of the washroom, and she is stunned to see him like that in front of her. Wen-chi notices this and checks her forehead for signs of a fever, but she is perfectly fine. He understands what she must be thinking, which makes her blush every time. He leans in to kiss her. Bai Mentang stands motionless for a moment, but before he can kiss her, she flinches aside and runs to her room, telling him to sleep on the couch in the lounge. Wen-chi smiles silently. The following day, as Bai Mentang enters the office, the team leader, Tao, specifically tells her not to go to the company forum today. She notices a few employees eyeing her strangely. She asks what's going on in the forum when her former boyfriend Ming arrives with his girlfriend, who posted her pictures with Secretary Tang yesterday. They tell her to disappear into the slums where she came from, as her presence will ruin the company's environment. As Tao stops them from speaking like that, Bai Mentang checks the forum and sees the pictures. She angrily asks who did that, and the employees tell her that it's the reality of her immoral lifestyle, which has been posted online. Instead of accusing anyone, they say she should act appropriately. Some comment that they feel sorry for her husband, who has an unfaithful wife, while others say her husband must belong to the same filth. One person comments that Bai Mentang must have been sleeping with powerful people in the company to reach a position that others can only reach through hard work. This breaks her heart. But Tao tells everyone to stop talking like that since no one knows the truth. They accuse Tao of having an affair with Bai Mentang, just as Secretary Tang did the day before. Bai Mentang stops him and tells Ming that she will find out who ruined her reputation. She walks silently in the corridor, worried and crying, thinking about her humiliation when Wen-chi sees her coming. He pushes Tang aside and asks her what happened. She hugs him and says that the staff humiliated her. He later finds out that one of the pictures was with him and she stood up against them to protect his reputation. Wen-chi gets angry and tells her that they both should leave the company. But Bai Mentang refuses, saying she needs the money to pay Wen-chi for the full month. She refuses even when Wen-chi offers to bear her expenses and leave the office. Tang, hiding behind the door, comes out stammering after Wen-chi kicks her out. Wen-chi orders Tang to solve this matter immediately. Obeying him, Tang investigates the matter and, with the help of the IT department, figures out that Ming was spreading the rumors because he was her ex-boyfriend. A colleague shows the chat in the forum, and after knowing the truth, people start shaming Qian. She angrily leaves, and Bai Mentang turns to her official colleagues, telling them not to believe rumors without proof next time. Afterwards, she thanks Secretary Tang, as he made a lot of effort to extract the data and find the true culprit. He shares that he followed the command of his CEO in this matter, who wanted to deliver justice. She gets so excited that a CEO can take her side and is more confident that her bad luck has finally come to an end. On the other hand, Wen-Chi reads online that the forum has no false news and the issue has been resolved. But Secretary Tang wants to know when Wen-Chi will disclose his identity to his girlfriend. He intends to do it soon but says he is trying to find an appropriate moment. At the same time, someone knocks on his office door, and it's Bai Mentang, who has come to thank the CEO with a food package. She opens the door. But Wen-Chi quickly switches seats with Tang, who pretends that he is sitting in the CEO's chair to confirm whether Wen-Chi has repaired it properly. Bai Mentang looks up and asks about the CEO. Tang shares that he is on a business trip abroad, and if she has any message for him, she can tell him. She shares that she has a homemade food package, which Tang accepts with thanks and starts eating immediately with immense joy. Bai Mentang tells him how she has heard about the CEO, describing him as a tall, smart, and handsome guy, the most eligible bachelor. Suddenly, she turns towards Wen-Chi and asks why the chair maintenance is taking so long, which is not normal, and she starts pushing him outside the room. Once outside, she reveals her doubts about his profession, presuming that Wen-Chi is, in fact, a scam financial scheme agent. She tries to talk him out of it, telling him that he shouldn't be greedy for money, as luxury shouldn't be the priority in life. She shares that their fair income will be enough to live a good life for both of them. Suddenly, she forgets that she is in a contract marriage with Wen-Chi for 1 month. Noticing her interest, Wen-Chi asks if she wants to spend her whole life with him. She blushes and returns to the building, answering nothing. That day, team leader Tao shares that he is so happy with her work, as she meets deadlines on time. Because of this, he plans to give her a promotion soon. At the same time, her cousin Xiao, who is also the marketing director in the company, comes to meet her in the department and tells her to meet her in her office. Tao tries to stop her, knowing her family bullies her, but she goes to hear what Xiao wants to say. Xiao announces to her team that she is taking Bai Mentang on as an intern and hands her 200 survey papers that she is supposed to finish today. Li Ji resists, saying that it's too much for an intern to do by herself until 10 p.m. But Xiao remains stubborn, saying that Bai Mentang must do it all, or Li Ji can do it all, because she wants to test if Bai Mentang can handle such corporate work pressure. Li Ji is embarrassed that they are putting so much work pressure on Bai Mentang. That night, after work hours, Wen-Chi calls Secretary Tang to find out if Bai Mentang is working overtime since she hasn't returned home yet. But in the lounge, he only finds Li Ji, who shares that everyone except her has left, and Bai Mentang is still working overtime. On the other hand, Bai Mentang has to finish the 200 surveys by the due time today, asking random people on the street to fill them out for her. The weather and the public's behavior are both harsh. Even when she asks a person to answer the questionnaire, he pushes her, and she falls badly, hurting her knee. At the same time, Wen-Chi calls her to ask why she isn't back home, as her survey papers are spoiled on the ground. She shares that she is working overtime, but he doesn't believe she's telling the truth. After hanging up, she tries to walk again with a painful knee when she bumps into 2 drunk guys. They stop her and demand an apology. Initially, she tries to reason with them, but then gets terrified of being alone and harassed, so she immediately apologizes. But they refuse to go away and ask her to join them for drinks. Bai Mentang refuses and pretends to call her husband, claiming he will come to get her soon. The drunk men realize she is lying, so she pushes them both with her umbrella and throws them on the ground. This angers the men, and they begin following her. With her injured knee, Bai Mentang can't walk much longer and falls down. The guys intend to violate her when luckily Wen-Chi arrives, searching for Bai Mentang. The men run away, and Wen-Chi hugs her, apologizing for arriving late. He picks her up in his arms, and Bai Mentang feels so lucky and safe. The next morning, she presents the completed survey report to the marketing department, but her supervisor is unhappy with the dirty papers. She apologizes, and team leader Tao stands up for her, saying she worked late in harsh weather and deserves appreciation, not scolding. Bai Mentang shares that she has emailed the neat papers to the supervisor, but the supervisor continues to humiliate her, accusing her of being late in submitting the papers. She submitted them in the morning, while she was asked to do it by 10 p.m. At the same time, Xiao arrives, telling her that she is disqualified as a marketing intern. She asks Bai Mentang to leave immediately because she's fired. Tao retaliates, saying Xiao can't falsely accuse and fire an intern, as he will report to the CEO. Xiao laughs, saying no one cares about a mere intern in a big organization, so she doesn't think the CEO will listen to him. Bai Mentang sees that there is no chance of staying in the job any longer and stops Tao from speaking in her favor. Tao advises her to find someone with a higher rank than Xiao to save her job. At that moment, they hear the CEO's voice, saying that no one can dismiss Bai Mentang from the job. Surprisingly, it is the moment when Wen Qi reveals himself as the CEO in front of Bai Mentang. He comes in with Tang and an assistant. Everyone calls him the CEO, but Bai Mentang assumes they are referring to the man standing behind them. He transfers the assistant to the South African branch of the company and tells Xiao to receive her punishment from HR for bullying their intern. Bai Mentang is overjoyed watching the matter resolved. But as she walks to Wen Qi, she scolds him for walking in front of the CEO, which looks bad. He tries to tell her that he is the CEO, but before she listens, she turns to his assistant and thanks him for favoring her. Then she whispers in Tang's ear to teach Wen Qi some good manners befitting an employee in a prestigious company. Tang smiles and assures her that he will do so. Afterwards, she has lunch with Wen Qi when he brings up the subject of their relationship. He wants to stay with her even after their one-month contract ends, but naive Bai Mentang assumes that he wants a divorce in due time. Disappointed in her heart, she assures Wen Qi that she will divorce him at the end of the month. Xiao, leaving the office in anger, promises herself to teach Bai Mentang a lesson. She overhears that Bai Mentang's marriage is just a temporary contract to fulfill the conditions of owning the land in her grandfather's will. She smiles, as she now has a plan to ruin Bai Mentang's life. She returns home and shares the news with her mom that Bai Mentang is in a fake marriage. Her mother decides to get the signatures on the papers, as she can't allow Bai Mentang to keep the inherited guest house. She tells Xiao that Bai Mentang's husband is a poor laborer who won't be able to afford a nice home for her, which pleases Xiao, as she never wants anything good for Bai Mentang. On the other hand, Bai Mentang wonders how easily Wen Qi talks about the end of their contract. It makes her sad, as she doesn't want it to end. Xiao comes to her desk with a coffee and, with a nice smile, invites her to her mom's birthday party. Bai Mentang is startled by her sudden change in attitude, as they've never allowed her to join them at the table. But Xiao insists that they want to have dinner together because grandfather always wished to see them together. After Xiao leaves her desk, Bai Mentang recalls that in their childhood, instead of playing together, Xiao used to break her toys that Grandpa bought her. Out of jealousy, she would punish Bai Mentang and lock her up in a room for hours. So before Tao leaves the office, he advises Bai Mentang to avoid meeting her cousin, as nothing good ever came from their side. But unexpectedly, Xiao appears again to take her home. Bai Mentang is doubtful about her intentions, but she decides to go with her. On the other hand, Tang is on a date at a hotel when he receives a call from Wen Qi asking which egg is appropriate to cook, as he is making dinner for Bai Mentang. Tang tells him that he will send a cook shortly to teach him, then hangs up the call. At the same time, he spots Bai Mentang walking into the hotel with Xiao. Later, when Xiao takes Bai Mentang into a room and bolts the door behind her, Bai Mentang remembers that it looks just like the room where they used to lock her in as a child. She tells Xiao to open the door because she feels terrified. But Xiao says they want her to sign the guest house papers, as she found out that Bai Mentang's marriage is fake and now she has lost the right to own the inherited property. She points out that Bai Mentang isn't even wearing a ring. Bai Mentang refuses and her mom slaps her for arguing, saying they already discovered that she lied about her marriage. Xiao rushes and tells her mom to bring the papers and get it over with. They force Bai Mentang to sign them when someone knocks at the door. It's the waiter who brought the order. Bai Mentang tries to leave and scream, but her mom hides her under the table while Xiao opens the door. She tries to scream for help, but the waiter hears nothing. Tang asks the waiter if everything is fine in the room, and the waiter confirms that there is nothing to worry about. At the same time, Tang's girlfriend gets angry at him for stalking another woman in front of her, so he leaves the lobby and joins her. Once again, Xiao and her mom force Bai Mentang to put her thumbprint on the guest house papers. She doesn't want to give up her inherited property and screams helplessly to call Wen Qi. Suddenly, the door opens and Wen Qi appears. As soon as Bai Mentang sees that Wen Qi is here, she faints. Her mom, knowing that this guy is an ordinary laborer, begins reprimanding him for coming into their room uninvited, but Xiao stops her. Her mom discloses that it's Bai Mentang's husband, and Xiao's heart sinks in jealousy. She falls onto the couch helplessly, while Wen Qi lifts Bai Mentang in his arms to leave. Her mom continues to speak angrily, saying that he is just a poor guy, while her daughter is in charge of the marketing department at Tianheng. Before leaving, Wen Qi tells her mom that her daughter will no longer be in that position, as he is the CEO of Tianheng. Her mom gets shocked, and Wen Qi orders Tang to fire Xiao and make sure her family leaves Bai Mentang's family property. He brings Bai Mentang back home and asks her why she went there alone when she knew she could get into trouble. She is surprised that Wen Qi knew where she was. She doesn't believe him when he says that he keeps track of her whereabouts. He pulls her cheeks affectionately, and Bai Mentang stops him, reminding him that they are in a fake marriage and that these cute gestures mean nothing. She continues that she admires him because he is the most handsome guy and he deserves someone better than her. But she will always be grateful for the time they spent together. Wen Qi kisses her, and she feels so happy that even the next day, she smiles while sitting at her desk in the office. Tao asks her if Xiao gave her drugs because she has been smiling mindlessly all day, but she tells him that her husband confessed his love for her for the first time. After work, Wen Qi comes to pick her up, and as he opens the door of his car for her, Qian Qian sees them. She watches as they hug each other with love, and now she wonders why, despite all her efforts to throw Bai Mintang out of the office, she is still here. She assumes that Bai Mintang has made a strong bond with the CEO. Suddenly, a girl stops in front of her and asks about Tianheng Company and its CEO. When she introduces herself as the CEO's fiancé, Qian Qian is taken aback. To watch Bai Mintang's reaction, Qian Qian brings the fiancé over to Bai Mintang and introduces her as Li Zishi. She expresses her joy that Wen Qi has hired a good team. Bai Mintang, not knowing that the CEO is Wen Qi, welcomes Li Ji very politely. After she leaves, Bai Mintang thinks that she will try to become closer to Li Ji, hoping that this will secure her a permanent job in the company and possibly an early promotion. On the other hand, Tang tells Wen Qi that Xiao Xiao's family has been thrown out of the guest house. He also informs Wen Qi that his father has returned home and wants him to marry a girl soon and bring her home, or else he will take serious actions. This deeply worries Wen Qi. It seems like the best time for Wen Qi to disclose his true identity to Bai Mintang and bring her home as his bride, which will make his father, Mr. Chairman, very happy. Wen Qi knows this and intends to find a good opportunity to tell her. At the same time, he sees Bai Mintang coming toward him and grabs the file from Secretary Tang's hand to pretend that he was there for some work. Tang pretends to be his boss and expresses that he is happy with his work. Bai Mintang pulls Wen Qi aside and advises him to come less often to the company. She doesn't want him to lose his good job. He smiles at her advice and assures her that he will do so. Suddenly, Li appears in front of him and kisses Wen Qi on the cheek. He tries to push her away, and Tang immediately takes her back to the CEO's office. This sight angers Bai Mintang, as she didn't expect the CEO's fiancé to be so intimate with her ordinary husband. Wen Qi lies, claiming that they were childhood neighbors and schoolmates in high school. They met after a long time, so she excitedly greeted him with a kiss. Bai Mintang accepts his excuse but warns him to stay away from other girls from now on, as he is her husband now. She kisses him and walks away. Wen Qi enters his office, where Li is waiting for him. He refuses to marry her, explaining that they only talked about marrying when they were 6 years old. Now, he doesn't want to marry her, but Li tells him that their parents are so happy about the relationship, so they have to get married even if he doesn't want to. She has seen his affection toward Bai Mintang and warns him to stay away from that ordinary girl. Before leaving the office, Li goes to Bai Mintang to tell her to stay away from Wen Qi, but Bai Mintang angrily tells her to stay away, pointing out that she is the CEO's fiancé and has nothing to do with Wen Qi, so she shouldn't have an affair with him. Qian Qian listens to their conversation while hiding in a corner. When Bai Mintang leaves, she appears in front of Li Ai and asks if she wants to take revenge on that stupid Bai Mintang. Upon receiving confirmation, Li uses her rank to humiliate Bai Mintang. Meanwhile, an elderly man looks at an ad released by the company when Qian Qian appears. She taunts him for being hired at such an old age and accuses HR of hiring age-inappropriate employees. The old man looks astonished when Bai Mintang arrives. Qian Qian asks her to come and join the old man in sweeping all the restrooms in the building. She introduces the old man as the new sweeper. Surprised by the odd job Qian Qian has just assigned to her, Bai Mintang turns to the old man, named Wen Ru. He asks, surprised, if he's been assigned as the sweeper here. Bai Mintang understands that he can't do this at his age, so she tells him that she will do it instead of him to avoid him losing his job. But when Wen Ru says he doesn't need the job, she drags him along to do the cleaning work together. They work in the restrooms for hours, and Bai Mintang doesn't realize that Wen Ru is actually the father of CEO Wen Qi. Wen Ru gets tired and sits on the floor, thinking how unbelievable it is that he's mopping the floor when he is the company's chairman. After cleaning the last restroom, Bai Mintang tells him that they've finally finished cleaning all the restrooms. Chairman Wen Ru is impressed with her effort. She shares that she used to help her grandpa with work when she was a child. Chairman Wen Ru expresses his wish that he wants a daughter-in-law for his son just like her, but he is already engaged. However, Bai Mintang smiles and shares that she is already married. At the same time, Qian Qian sees them talking and threatens to fire them for not finishing the work on time. But Bai Mintang insists that they have already finished cleaning. When Qian Qian enters the restroom to check, she mistakenly enters the men's restroom and is scolded by Wen Ru for barging in without informing him. Their argument makes Chairman Wen Ru and Bai Mintang laugh. Qian Qian inspects the restrooms, claiming they are not properly cleaned, and Chairman Wen Ru takes the blame. Bai Mintang tries to save his job, but Qian Qian fires him, not realizing she is misbehaving with the chairman. After she leaves, Bai Mintang feels bad that the old man lost his job, but Chairman Wen Ru smiles and tells her they will meet again soon. After a long day of cleaning, his body aches. The next morning, Qian Qian is confident she will plot against Bai Mintang's incompetence in front of the chairman and the CEO's fiancé and get her fired. They wait in line when the chairman appears. Bai Mintang is surprised and Qian Qian falls to the floor, worried about what she has done to the man who is actually the chairman. She pleads for mercy and asks for forgiveness, but Chairman Wen Ru tells her that she can stay on the job if she does the cleaning for the whole month. Li does not speak in her favor, as she never asked Qian Qian to bully the chairman. Chairman Wenru dismisses everyone except Bai Mentang and asks her to stay with him and entertain him during his visit to the company. Tang tries to save her, but Chairman Wenru insists she stay with him as long as he is there. He tells Tang to inform Wenqi that he will not leave the building without meeting him. Tang calls Wenqi multiple times, and he finally picks up the call. Wenqi tells him he is busy learning how to cook and needs privacy. He barely listens to Tang when he informs him that Li and the chairman are waiting for him. On the other hand, Bai Mentang feels awkward because she doesn't know what to talk about with Li and the chairman. She tells Li that she has been on this job for a month. Li tells the chairman that Bai Mentang is the one Wenqi wants to marry, which makes him very happy. Bai Mentang is surprised and says that it seems everyone knows her husband here. At that moment, Wenqi comes running into the office, wearing an apron because he was cooking at home. He asks Bai Mentang to leave the office and sit down on the chair before his father. He angrily tells his father that he will marry when he finds a suitable partner, but the chairman is not ready to wait. Li is happy that the chairman is in a rush to get his son married to anyone, and she hopes she will be his first choice. Wenqi finally reveals that he wants to marry Bai Mentang. In fact, they are already married. With a hard expression on his face, the chairman opposes the marriage and tells Wenqi that he doesn't deserve to marry such a wonderful girl like Bai Mentang. However, he later admits that he has no objection to the marriage and that the girl is perfect to become a member of the Wen family. Wenqi smiles with joy, approving of his choice in front of his father. Meanwhile, Bai Mentang is outside the room, trying to figure out the connection between Li, Wenqi, and the chairman, because it looks like both the chairman and Li know him. This suggests that he might be an important person. At the same time, Jiang Qian arrives angrily and tries to slap Bai Mentang for ruining her job and reputation at the company. She accuses Bai Mentang of being a charmer who attracts both an old man and the CEO. She tries to stop her, but Jiang Qian is too harsh. Li appears in the corridor and slaps Jiang Qian. Jiang Qian is surprised as she misbehaved with both the chairman and Bai Mentang. With Li's permission, Bai Mentang tells Jiang Qian to stop calling her a homewrecker. Jiang Qian is surprised that, after all the humiliation, Bai Mentang is still taking her side and trying to protect her position before Miss Li. Bai Mentang advises her to stop maligning each other's reputations and focus on making money. She tells Miss Li that she is lucky to be the wife of the CEO, so she should stop thinking about her husband Wenqi. Initially, Li doesn't understand, but then she realizes that Bai Mentang thinks Wenqi and the CEO are two different people. She asks Bai Mentang the name of the company's CEO, but Bai Mentang doesn't know it. Lai laughs at her naivety and tells her that her innocence is what made Wenqi fall in love with her. They call her a fool, but Bai Mentang advises Jiang Qian to focus on her career instead of making more enemies. After they leave, Bai Mentang decides to search the name of the company's CEO. Just as she starts searching and is about to find the CEO's name, Wenqi arrives. He asks her what she is doing, and she tells him that she is searching for the CEO's name. He tells her to do it later and takes her home. Wenqi has cooked a nice meal for her and set the table. She sits on the couch to wait while he finishes, hiding the rings behind her. When Wenqi asks, she tells him to close his eyes. He does, and she gives him the ring. He is surprised that she did what he was about to do, and he opens his hand to show that he too bought rings. She shares that it was already on her mind when Xiao mentioned that he wasn't wearing a wedding ring because they are in a fake marriage. She puts the ring on his finger and asks if he will marry her. Wenqi puts the ring on her finger and asks the same question. She agrees happily, and he lifts Bai Mentang in his arms. The next morning, she keeps showing her wedding ring to Wu, which annoys him a lot. She keeps smiling, and Wenqi watches her from a corner. He tells Tang to hire a wedding planner because he wants to marry her in a grand ceremony. Tang reminds him that he first needs to reveal his true identity. The scene shifts to Bai Mentang, who is struggling to handle a bundle of files and trying to press the elevator button. Li comes over and asks if she is interested in knowing a secret about Wenqi. Bai Mentang refuses, saying she has accepted him as he is. Li, however, has started liking Bai Mentang's innocence and wants to reveal Wenqi's secret. So she smiles and asks her to think about the name of the company's chairman. When Bai Mentang hears the name Wenru, it hits her that Wenqi is his son. In amazement, Bai Mentang drops the files from her hands. Li meets Wenqi, who advises her to move on with her life without him, as he has chosen a suitable life partner for her. He is waiting for Bai Mentang, and Li tells him that she just revealed his true identity to Bai Mentang, that he is the company's CEO. Li thinks Bai Mentang is a cute girl, and if Wenqi truly loves her, he has to find her. If he fails, Li will take Bai Mentang away from him. She smiles and leaves. At the same time, Li has appointed Jiang Qian to look after Bai Mentang for 48 hours and has taken her phone. Bai Mentang pleads with Jiang Qian to give her phone back, but Jiang Qian angrily refuses and constantly reminds her that her beloved husband deceived her. But Bai Mentang says that it doesn't matter because she loves her husband. She notices that Jiang Qian is busy looking at her phone screen and runs away from the hotel. Jiang Qian follows her on the street, and they both stop to catch their breath when a man with his face covered stops them and asks who Bai Mentang is. He holds a knife, and Bai Mentang tells Jiang Qian to run, as the man is there for her. She knows Xiao must have sent him, but Jiang Qian refuses to leave, as she doesn't want to lose the perks Lai offered for looking after Bai Mentang. Ultimately, Jiang Qian runs away, and the man moves forward with the knife in his hand. He is about to stab Bai Mentang when Wenqi stops him and saves her. Li returns her phone and tells her that she no longer wants Wen Qi, but she will always be there if Bai Mintang needs her. Afterwards, Wen Qi asks if Bai Mintang is mad at him. She shares that she isn't angry, but from now on, she wants him to sign an agreement. If he ever deceives her again, he will have to give her half of his property. He agrees, and they walk home together. The drama ends here. Bai Mintang, Ming Wen Qi Yu, Wugugui Xiang, Xiao 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 Tianheng, Xiang Qiang girlfriend, Secretary Tang, Team Leader Tao, Xiao, Chang in black, Li Ji fiance, Wenru Song.